GCOM is now removing ballot boxes, the containers that contain the ballot boxes, the 2,339 ballot boxes. So they have made preparations to start the removal process here at the Artichon Conference Center. We believe that these ballot boxes, the containers with the ballot boxes, are going to the GCOM headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown. I am not quite certain total amount of containers in there with ballot boxes. I can't say for sure, but there are probably over 20 containers containing ballot boxes at the Artichon Conference Center. So that process has commenced this morning, as you can see here. The container trucks are removing the containers with the ballot boxes, and they are being escorted by the police to the GCOM headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown. The recount has wound down today here. Well, yesterday really, the recount came to an end yesterday, but the tabulation process still continues. So the ballot boxes are being removed as GCOM wraps up the recount process at the Artichon Conference Center. That, I believe, is the first container to have left the Artichon Conference Center here this morning. We don't see any party agents. Well, I guess maybe two party agents following them. So we are going to continue bringing live coverage here at the Artichon Conference Center, where GCOM is making preparations to remove ballot boxes. So we can see some of the heavy duty equipment here at the Artichon Conference Center that came in earlier to help with the process, the removal process of the containers containing the ballot boxes. So those two heavy duty equipment will go down to the GCOM headquarters, and they will assist in taking off the container from the truck, and then I believe they will come back to the Artichon Conference Center to continue removing the containers that have the ballot boxes. So the Public Relations Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, Yolanda Ward, would have indicated to members of the media this morning that the ballot boxes will be removed, and as the process is winding down here at the Artichon Conference Center, there would not be much activity here. So the media tent also, where the members of the media would have been camped out outside the recount site, will be removed today as well. So the tabulation is currently ongoing inside the Artichon Conference Center, and while that process is ongoing there, GCOM is making preparations to have all of the ballot boxes removed from the Artichon Conference Center, and these ballot boxes will be taken to the GCOM's headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown. Now, as the tabulation process is expected to be completed just after midday today, and it's approximately 95 statements of recount that are outstanding for the regional elections, and approximately 14 statements of recount that are outstanding for the general elections that needs to be tabulated today. And that process is expected to be completed just after 12, after which the recount for Region 4 will have to be certified by GCOM. And when that is certified, then the Chief Elections Officer, Mr. Kit Lowenfield, would have all of the certificates of the recount with the total tally for each district, for each electoral district. And once he has that in his possession, he then has to embark on a process to compile his election report, and that has to be submitted to the Commission on or before June 13. The Commission will then deliberate on that process and will make further decisions from there. And they haven't set a date as to when exactly they have to declare the results from the elections. But based on the tabulation done at the end of yesterday, the PPP, the Opposition People's Progressive Party, the recount results are showing so far that they are ahead by 13,000 votes, and they're set to regain the presidency. The PPP has been out of office since 2015 after one term. They're now back in office based on the recount of the results thus far. So we are going to continue bringing you live coverage outside the Artichon Conference Center as GCOM makes preparations again to remove more ballot boxes. This process is expected to take the rest of today. So after today, we should not be seeing any more activities here at the Artichon Conference Center. Most of it will be based at the GCOM headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown. I am back to the newsroom's live coverage of the recount exercise here at the Artichon Conference Center. Well, we really can't call it a recount exercise anymore because that concluded yesterday, and the tabulation process started this morning. That's what was remaining from those statements of recount, and that was completed just after an hour. It commenced at 10:30 this morning. We were made to understand that while the tabulation process has been completed, the certificate to certify the votes for Region 4 will not be done until 3 p.m. tomorrow here at the Artichon Conference Center. I have with me here right now the PPP nominated GCOM Commissioner, Mr. Says Gonraj, and he will basically explain to us what happened in there this morning and the process going forward. Mr. Gonraj, thank you for joining us. The tabulation completed this morning. Tell us a little bit about what happened in there and where we go from here.
All right, so thank you, Fareeza, and good day to your viewers. What happened this morning is that the last bit, every day, the statements of recount that are generated from each of the stations, they are tabulated into a spreadsheet, which is witnessed by all, it is live streamed, etc. At the close of play yesterday, there were some regional and some general statements of recounts outstanding. Those were tabulated this morning. At the end of the tabulation of a district, what happens is that matrix, that spreadsheet, is printed and presented to all representatives of all the contesting political parties for them to go through it, reconcile those with their statements of recounts that they have that should be reflected in there. And once all is satisfied, it is signed off by the tabulation supervisor, by the district coordinator, and by the representatives themselves. As you'll be aware as well, some representatives have refused to sign, but that does not invalidate it. That has been done this morning. As I was leaving the room, the matrices were being presented to the representatives, and tomorrow afternoon then they will sign off on those, assuming that everything is correct, and I don't see any reason. As we were leaving there, they were even joking that everything is in order. Once that is done, that will be done tomorrow. It's all in the court of the CEO now. The ball is in his court. So what he is expected to do is to provide a summary of those. He will present to the commission a collection of those reports, and he is also expected to do a concatenation, a summary of the reports, of the observation reports for all of the districts, and present that to the commission. We have been assured that we will be getting that before the June 13 deadline that he has by the order to present it. And once we have that, I believe the commission will quickly decide on it, deliberate on it, request the final numbers, which will, I anticipate, have the allocation of seats in the parliament, etc., and have that presented to the commission for us to make a declaration on. I am seeing this happening in a matter of a few days, all things being equal.
I asked this question earlier by the former Attorney General, and he would have given his opinion. But you're a GCOM commissioner. You are in that meeting. You know what goes on in terms of the discussions. Can the commission pronounce on the credibility of the recount? And let's say there is a suggestion that the elections were not credible, and therefore GCOM cannot declare based on the outcome here. Can that happen?
I would say no, as a short answer. But to elaborate, the sole entity clothed with the legal authority to do so is the courts. The courts have the court is the only body with that jurisdiction to inquire into the conduct of elections and to inquire into the operations and to the results, etc. It is that specific jurisdiction is catered for in law and is specifically in the domain of the courts. Specifically.
Does the commission need to await the submission of the report from the GCOM scrutineers before declaring the results?
The CARICOM scrutineers, you
Sorry,
mean?
yes,
No,
sorry.
no.
They don't.
If you look at the order, it is not imperative that we receive that in our deliberation on the results. It is not. It is not dependent on. It's not conditional on it.
So let's say that CARICOM report is submitted before a declaration is made. Will it be taken into consideration before making a declaration?
I have no doubt that when we get the CARICOM report, we will pay some heed to it. I have no doubt. But like I said, its absence will not detract from our ability to make the final declaration.
And is GCOM prepared for any legal challenge to the electoral process or to the recount process at this time, or maybe in anticipation of an injunction to block the declaration?
I would not want, as an officer of the court primarily, my sitting on the commission is secondary to that. As an officer of the court, I believe that everyone has the ability to go to the courts and seek redress if they feel that the wrong is perpetuated against them or an organization, as the case may be. But most, if not all, of the issues that are likely to be litigated in this have already been litigated. The elections 2020 have been subject, and aspects of the elections 2020 have been subject to so much litigation already. You've had Riaz Holiday, which was necessary when you had the Bingo declaration. You've had Yulita Moore, which sought to stop the CARICOM, this very recount that has physically concluded today. All of that and all of this has expanded the jurisprudence of Guyana, especially in these legal areas, tremendously. And I believe at this point there is nothing left to litigate. There's nothing left to litigate, and this nation has waited patiently, extremely patiently, for what is about 3.5 months now, for elections results to be presented to them. And I believe that it will be in very bad taste by anyone to even attempt to stymie this process at this stage.
Thank you very much for speaking with us, Mr. Gunraj. There we had Mr. Says Gunraj, a PPPC nominated GCOM Commissioner of the Guyana Elections Commission. Now, as we've been reporting, the ballot boxes are in the process of being removed from the Artichon Conference Center, and they're going back to the GCOM headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown. There are approximately 13 containers that need to be removed from the Artichon Conference Center. That process commenced this morning. The tabulation process for the recount has been completed this morning. Party agents are leaving the Artichon Conference Center. We were told that the certification of District 4 recount will be done until 3 o'clock tomorrow, right here at the Artichon Conference Center at 3 p.m. So Mr. Gunraj would have explained why that will be done at 3 p.m. tomorrow. So the process here is not completed fully. And coming up to speak with us now is the presidential candidate of the Citizenship Initiative, Rhonda Ann Lam. Most of you know that Ms. Lam has been in there for the 34 days of this recount process. She's basically based in the Tabulation Center. So now she'll be able to tell us about what took place in the Tabulation Center this morning and the certification of the Region 4 recount results. Thank you, Ms. Lam.
Hi, Fareeza. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about what took place this morning in the tabulation.
So we had the conclusion of the tabulation process. Yesterday when we closed, we had 14 general SORs to tabulate to 95. We started with regional and then we concluded with the last of the general boxes. So what happened immediately after that was all of the parties who were represented on those SORs, they received completed what we call matrices, the numbers. So we're going to check, ensure that those numbers verify with what we've been tabulating. Along the process, we will receive, District 4 has 4 sub-districts. So as each sub-district finished before, we were able to get a matrix for it. And then we collected an entire matrix today. And so tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we're going to certify District 4. And then after that, the CEO is expected to send his report to the commission. They will deliberate, and we expect a declaration.
Okay, so what's going to happen with you now? Are you coming back here tomorrow?
We'll be here tomorrow because each party represented has to sign that matrix, and then we will each receive a copy of the certified results for District 4. So that will happen at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so all of the parties again will roll in tomorrow again for that process.
So tomorrow likely again will be the final day here at the Artichon Conference Center.
We thought it would have been today, but given the size of District 4, I could see why they'd want to take extra special, attention, especially to those East Coast boxes. And so one more day to go before we get to those certified results.
We would have seen the total results that the Citizenship Initiative would have received. I don't have the tally with me. I'm not sure if you do.
680 votes. We have 680 votes. We're very proud of it. I mean, it seems like nothing when you look at how much it needs for a seat. But for a party just out the gate to even get on the board and get into the 3-digit range, we consider that we're very proud of that number. We, like I told you last evening, we're prepping for LGs. We've identified our candidates, and now we just wait. We do what we need to do to get to LGs, and so we're looking past all of the, the action that is expected to come within the next week or so.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lam. I guess we'll see you back here tomorrow. And that was Rhonda Ann Lam, the presidential candidate of the Citizenship Initiative. Now, the Citizenship Initiative, as their votes are tabulated each day for the past 34 days, they have a website where they have been updating that website with the results and the results coming out of the recount based on the statements of recount that they would have received. So they're using legitimate GCOM documents to tabulate the results. And they updated that website this morning. So I just want to point that out for you. They revealed that the APNU AFC, based on the tabulation done this morning, received 217,920 votes. So the incumbent coalition received an overall total of 217,920 votes from the recount process. And the People's Progressive Party Civic, the opposition, received a total of 233,336 votes, which puts the PPP to regain the presidency, meaning that they would have won this 2020 elections by over 15,400 votes. So again, I'll just repeat that for you, that the APNU AFC, the incumbent, received 217,920 votes, and the People's Progressive Party Civic, the opposition, received 233,336 votes, which proves that the People's Progressive Party would have regained the presidency after being out of office for one term. The other votes are on the Citizenship Initiative website. ANOG would have received 2,313 votes. Change Guyana would have received 1,953 votes, 1,953. The Liberty and Justice Party received 2,657 votes. The PRP received 889 votes. The Citizenship Initiative received 680 votes. The New Movement, they received 244 votes. URP received 360 votes. So the total votes cast would have been 460,352. So the People's Progressive Party Civic has emerged as the winner for the 2020 elections. GCOM will have to make an official declaration on that, but the figures I just read for you are from the tabulation done by the Citizenship Initiative based on the legitimate statements of recount that came out of the recount process from the Guyana Elections Commission. So the ballot boxes continue to be moved here at the Artichon Conference Center. They're going back to the GCOM Kingston headquarters. And again, the certification of Region 4 results will be done tomorrow at 3 o'clock here at the Artichon Conference Center. So that's the only outstanding issue for the recount process, after which the Chief Elections Officer will have to submit a report to the Guyana Elections Commission. They will deliberate on that report and then hopefully make a declaration. Political parties believe that a declaration will be made by June 16 or even before June 16. So those are some of the updates that we have for you right now outside of the Artichon Conference Center. We will continue to bring you live updates as they occur. I am Fareeza Haniff reporting for the newsroom. Take care.